out there in television land, or should I say, internet land, we are truly. I come from an age where there was pretty much only television, so I can tell you all about the days when I was a kid, and every morning went to watch cartoons. I mean, there was cartoons every single morning, man. It was not like it was only Saturdays. They put cartoons every morning. There was a block of cartoons. Maybe it was Mega Man. Maybe it was Double Dragon. Eventually, they traded it up for Pokemon and Beast Wars and Jumanji. There was a show called Jumanji. I gotta watch that series. It's probably really good. It's more accurate version of Jumanji, supposedly. The movie wasn't as accurate as the show was. Um, you got it, buddy. Bring back some food or something. You're probably going to a party, right? But anyway, I really was all about Jumanji the cartoon. I was all about Rugrats. I was all about all the Nick shows. Nickelodeon was a huge thing back in my day. It's gone to shit now, in my opinion. I don't know what kids today are really concerned with or caring about in terms of what used to be or what is now. But I can tell you with a vengeance that my cartoons and stuff from my day were way better. Real Monsters, Hey Arnold, Cat Dog, Angry Beavers. God damn, I was just sitting there relaxing, watching all these amazing cartoons that today are not around. And I mean, could they ever make a show like Invader Zim again? Who made that fucking show? That show was beast. You know what I mean? Um, but I just wanted to make a video real quick to kind of lay out the complexity of what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm an artist, not much of one. I'm not trying to claim I'm some super elite level artist that you might find who's got his degree from I don't know what kind of art school. I know they have P something. What do you call it? There's a really good art school. Starts with a P. Can't remember the name of it. But I do not have that stuff. I'm an artist. I know how to draw. I know the complexity of the human body, the anatomy of it, the way it's formed. You really have to study it. You can't just draw it. You can't do it off of your head. I've done that so many times, and when you really get down to nitty gritty of drawing a human body, you have to look at it. You have to see how it functions, and then put it on paper the way it's supposed to be done, and that's the way it's got to be done. I mean, really, I've done so many drawings of the human body wrong, and then I realized one day I was just drawing it, and I said, "Oh wow, that's the way it works." It's supposed to be like that. Oh, my bad. And that's the way you go through the process of doing these things. But anyway, I'm a huge admirer of art. Been one since I was a kid. So I'm working on the Static Shock live action movie trailer that I'll put up soon. I've got a lot of, ideas for it. But the reason I'm trying to make it is a question. I've been bear witness to so many white guys going up against the strangest, amazing odds over my whole lifespan. I'm a huge Stan Lee fan. Who isn't? The man is a god in human flesh, and the things he's created, I think him and Jack Kirby and Joe DiMaggio, whatever the hell his name is, DeMiglia. I'm not gonna skirt around it. These guys are huge, amazing men, creating all these goddamn amazing things. And I've always loved what I've seen: Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men, and of course Captain America. On the other side of the fence, the DC stuff, Superman, Batman. They're gonna make a new movie now, although I'm not a fan of the Henry Cavill Superman. Um, what can I say about that movie? It just completely is not what I thought or hoped. They got Superman right, but everything else is wrong. And the movie sucked. It was not like it actually was like a good, honest, deep, meaningful film. It was just, oh, 1 minute it's pretty much by the number superhero movie that you'll always see. It's serviceable. It gets things started. It made a decent amount of money, and now we're gonna go buck wild with the sequel. We're gonna have him fucking going up against Batman or something, which makes no sense. Superman can beat Batman in 5 minutes. I know everybody's gonna say, "Oh, he's Batman. He can't be beat," but he's Superman. He can't be beat. You know what I mean? I've read so many Superman comics, and it's like they have to figure out some freaking weird shit to beat him. You know what I mean? He's Superman. He can't be beat. You gonna tell me that Batman is just gonna roll up and beat? No, man. Fucking can't even beat Wonder Woman or something like that. Wonder Woman could stand toe to toe with Superman. You know what I mean? At least she got flying powers and super strength. Batman's a human being. Superman eat him alive. Superman just fucking walk through the motherfucker, blow him away with his fucking. You know, he could either heat vision his ass or just blow him away with his breath. Ain't nothing Batman gonna be able to do against that. Shit. You talking about, oh, he go Batman. Bullshit ass bullshit. Anyway, I'm just saying, I'm working on a Static Shock movie. But the thing that even I am kind of like a little bit on ends about is like, I don't really have my clear, deep, meaningful like thoughts on it set in stone yet. I'm still working on that. Is like, we all know why Spider-Man's Spider-Man. He fucked up. He let his uncle die, and then from that point forward, he's living a life of having to bear the weight of using his powers for the right reason instead of just selfish reasons. That's always been the soul of the Spider-Man character. We know why Batman's Batman. Batman's parents got shot. From that point forward, he's been, trying to prevent that situation from ever happening again to another person. That's really the soul of the Batman character. He's a tragic individual. He's cursed. He never wanted to be Batman. It's just something he has to do because no one saved him from that situation. And he wants to be the person that's going to go in and actually do what no one else did at that point to save his parents. He wants to save someone else from his fate. That's such a beautiful story. We know why Spawn is Spawn. Here's another wonderful storyline. I love Spawn. I was a huge motherfucking fan of the movie when I found out about it. And then subsequently I got into the video games, Super Nintendo, and of course the Dreamcast, Demon's Hand. Played that shit like a motherfucker back in the day. I'm trying to get into the PS2 Spawn now. Spawn is an amazing character, amazing games that have come out, and I love the Spawn series. Too bad it didn't have an ending. That's really sucks. They make this wonderful, amazing, deep, meaningful, complex, dramatic series, and then give us all the finger after it's all done. Wonderful. Thank you. Anyway, we know why Spawn is Spawn. Spawn is probably, in my opinion, more complex a character than Batman or Spider-Man or Superman. About that, the SD card reached its limit. We got boned right there. But right now, right here, I'm moving forward with the Static Shock project. I'm a huge movie fan. I grew up watching Power Rangers the movie as a kid. That's like the single most amazing thing I ever saw in my life. Little did I know it was like full of racism and shit. But hey, everything was full of racism back in the 90s. Everything is full of racism. If you really think about it, there's like tons of movies made by white people, like mad full of racism and shit. And it's like, here I am, a black kid, watching this movie and enjoying the hell out of it. But you're watching Star Wars and you see fucking Gungan Jar Jar. Jar Jar's a black guy, played by a black guy, as a caricature of a black guy. If that's not the most racist motherfucking thing ever, and I don't know, Ahmed Best kind of just shrugged his fucking shoulders and said, "Yeah, I'm playing a racist caricature. I don't give a shit." He got paid $1 billion, so he doesn't give a shit. And he's getting, he's gonna get royalties from playing Jar Jar once they sell the, movies on DVD and Blu-ray and all that stuff. So he doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? He's getting paid. That black motherfucker, he getting money, even if they have, And the thing about it is, even after he played Jar Jar, they brought him back. Every fan on the internet was like, Jar Jar sucks so goddamn much, ruined Star Wars. They bring him back for episode 2. And then, of course, they really downplay him so that he's not even in episode 3. Episode 3 stands as the best prequel movie to this day. because there's no Jar Jar. He's not jumping around acting stupid in it or nothing. And it's actually a quality film to some degree. Imagine that. They remove Jar Jar from the equation. The movie actually becomes a Star Wars film where you're concentrating wholesale on the story and the characters and the people, and you're not thinking about, oh, Jar Jar's doing something right now. You know, I guess that's the point Lucas is making. Remove the black people, and suddenly things get better. Maybe he's right. I'm not gonna argue. I'm a black guy who's been shitted on by black people too, so I'm not like thinking, oh, I gotta be PC about things. So, we'll work on the Static Shock thing. But the reason why Spawn is so complex a character is because, okay, I'm blown away by the Spawn character. He's an amazing character. But why is the question. I'm just going to leave you hanging. The reason Spawn is an amazing character is because he is, he's stuck between, he's a so complex character. He's stuck between worlds. He wants, he's constantly fighting his own urge to give in to the demands of Malbolgia and become his right hand man. He's constantly fighting the devil, but he is the devil using the devil's own powers and shit. He's the ultimate rebel. If you ever see those movies where there's like one guy fighting a bunch of his own people, like how in Terminator, Arnold becomes good and fights the other Terminators and stuff like that. That's kind of the same thing. Spawn is really, and the reason he becomes Spawn is amazing. He makes a deal. He makes a pact that if he's allowed to go back to regular life and with his superpowers, that he'll, so that, that's the point. He wants to go back and see his wife, and it's such a tragic story. His wife thinks he's dead, yet he's hovering over her all the time, and he's, Superman and Batman and Spider-Man, they all have their looks. They're not scarred terribly. They're scarred emotionally, deep down, but Spawn has to wear his scar all day. He can't. That's so tragic. When you watch the cartoon, you don't really see it. And in fact, sometimes Spawn uses his powers to change himself into a normal-looking guy. When you watch the movie, it really sells the idea that Spawn can't hide the fact that he's fucked it up. And there's no going back. I love that part of the movie. I didn't really think about it as a kid. Oh, this is amazing storytelling. But the fact that he gets severely burned alive, that's another thing. Spider-Man will never know that shit. Batman, they gone through that shit. Spawn was burned alive, died, and now he's been resurrected, and he still got the burns. They didn't fucking fix that when he got resurrected. So now, even if you wanted to go up to Wanda and say, "What's up? I'm still alive," she's gonna be horrified by his face and everything. He's such a tragic character, and yet his soul is so pure. He's trying to fight for the good side, using the goddamn devil's own powers and super stuff. He's fighting for the good and trying to be a good person underneath all this evil that he's using to get to that point. I love the Spawn story. I really do. So what is so tragic and great about Static Shock? That's another thing. I never really understood that. In fact, that's probably why Static Shock was never really that great a character or a show. I loved him. I enjoyed him more because I was gravitated to the show because it was just, okay, I'm a black kid. He's a black kid. I'm going to watch a show about a black superhero. But the show was good. The character was good. He was intelligent. He was smart. He was making quips and shit. He was doing using his powers in magnificent ways, and all the characters were interesting. It was a fun show to watch and be a part of, and he went and crossed over with Batman sometimes. I love that stuff. It was great to watch. What's so interesting about Static Shock? What's so great about him? Is he just another token black character, or is he something more? Like Spawn. Spawn's a black superhero. Most people don't even know it. But he's black. He was black, and then he got burned, and then you can't tell whether he's black or not. But he's fucking black. And that's the great thing about him. He's a black superhero written by a white guy. So, of course, the white guy says to himself, well, how can I make this black guy interesting? How can I make his life so much more interesting beyond just being a black guy living in a black life? Well, let's make his storyline dramatic. Let's make his journey to seek out his wife very dramatic, and that creates the drama. So you're not even thinking he's a black guy. You think he's a man trying to get back with his wife, and it's a tragic story of Romeo and Juliet. He can't get with her because society is against it, kind of thing, and that's really beautiful. And that's the point of the Spawn character. So what's so great about Static Shock? I like Static primarily because he doesn't have serious drama. But why is he a hero? Nothing compels him to be a hero. He doesn't lose anybody. But he does have some drama. His mother was killed by gangs. That element pretty much is why he's a hero to some degree. But basically, the cartoon says he goes and he gets the powers, and then he says to himself, "I'll just become a superhero," you know. But I think he's joking about being a superhero at first. He's not really serious until he finally gets into it more, and he realizes that the city needs him. There is a gang of assholes out there starting trouble, and the only person who's going to actually defeat them is Static. And that's the great thing about Static. So what was I saying as my storage got lost there? We're making the Static thing. What motivates Static is the question. We all know what motivates Spider-Man. We all know what motivates Batman. We all know what motivates most superheroes. If there's one thing you can pretty much always count on, is that most superheroes have something motivating them. They don't care about being heroes until something happens. They lose a father, mother. They have a tragic dilemma, or in Spawn's case, he makes a bargain that he has to somehow skirt around or try to make some kind of sense of over time. But what's motivating Static? Well, I think the fact that the circumstances that created him also created a ton of other guys who are not using their powers for the right reason. And I think it's just a virtue. I mean, when you really take into consideration, Static is he's a heroic individual. I think the reason he got the powers was because he was from what I was watching of the cartoon, at whatever gang meeting he was going there to actually be a hero and kind of tell the gang to fuck off. They were expecting him to join the gang. He went down there to say, "No, I'm not going to join," and stuff like that. So after that, they all run around, and then he gets superpowers from the fucking bang smoke, purple smoke stuff. But initially he thinks he's the only one with the powers, and then later on he puts he jokingly goes about, "Oh, I'm gonna be a superhero with these powers." I don't think he's serious yet. He's not serious about it yet. He's just kind of like, he's just laughing about it, But then he realizes there's a bunch of other people with the same powers out there. Not his power. He has static powers. They have gas powers, stretchy powers, and somebody with fire powers. Then he realizes nobody out there can stop them but him. And this is what makes Static great, is that he's the quintessential hero. He's the person who says, there's nobody else who's going to be able to do this right now. Shit's hitting the fan, and no one else has superpowers but me. I'm the only one who's going to be able to stop them. And that's one of the lines in the trailer. It's like, I'm the only one who can actually do anything. Spider-Man is primarily motivated by the death of his uncle. He's never a hero because, there's the Green Goblin out there right now. Oh, there's this, there's that. Say what you want about it, but Static is primarily motivated to be a hero because there's a bunch of his own people out there causing trouble. They're not using their powers for the right reasons, so he's the only one who's saying, I'm going to actually do the right thing with my powers. I'm going to be a hero, I'm going to save lives, I'm going to be a good person. So that's what I'm hoping is going to, so it doesn't really, it's not as powerful as the Batman's motivation or even Superman's motivation. Superman's motivation is basically that what is motivating Superman to do what he does? Well, he grew up in a very American, idealistic setting, and of course, he had to hide his powers all his life. It's one of the things that was interesting about Smallville. What motivated Clark to become Superman all his life? His father. His father was a heroic, good-natured person. Superman ended up becoming pretty much like him. That's pretty much the point. Superman embodies what it means to be a good man, a heroic man, and his father embodied that. And Superman, that's the point really with Superman, was that if he dropped into a whole different part of the country with a set of terrible parents and shit, he would have become a villain. But because he dropped into Kansas with Ma and Pa Kent, and he was given the most beautiful, wonderful upbringing, and his parents loved him so much, he decided to use his powers for the right reason, and that motivated him for that. So Static Shock pretty much comes from that. His father and his sister. His father's a very huge monumental element in his life. So Static will never become evil because his father is a rock of solid moral, upstanding individual. He's just this stone cold good guy. So Static's never gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be a dork asshole today. Static is kind of an asshole when you get down to it. In the comic, you see him lounging around being a smart ass. That's actually me. When you see who I am, I'm a smart ass asshole, but he's still a hero because of his father. In my opinion, that's what makes Static interesting to some degree. He's a normal guy. He doesn't really have any intention of going out and putting his life on the line, but because he has such a good family, he actually wants to live up to that image of what his father was and try to be a good person and all that stuff, so that he can impress him. And of course, on this other side of that, he really is the only person who could possibly defeat all these bang babies running around. And he has to clean up the mess that was created. He has to be the force for good amidst a bunch of evil out there, and that's what makes Static interesting. I'm trying to find more reasons why Static Shock is special as a character. What makes him more interesting than Black Lantern or any other black superhero? He's a black superhero. That's another aspect of it. He's like the one really most popular black superhero ever created, because there isn't any other. I can't really think of any other. It really is only Static. You know, there hasn't been many. I can't remember any really. I know we got Cyborg. Cyborg's interesting. You know, too bad the guy playing Cyborg in live action offed himself. I can understand that. It's a crazy world we live in. But I'm not out. I'm not dead yet. We're gonna push forward with the Static Shock project. Gonna really, really get in shape. That's my objective here. I'm gonna use, right now. I'm currently employed at airline, not an airline, but I'm doing bag lifting for the company over there, and it builds your muscles up. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna lose a lot of weight. We're gonna hopefully pack on some muscle, and then we're gonna get this trailer shot with the phone I'm gonna buy, hopefully, and then it'll be done. Cause I got the computer technology down. I know how to create the effects for it. I got a couple ideas that I want to put into it. So it's gonna be a long process. It's like when you make a film. I'm pretty sure they don't make them in quick. They make them take a year or so to put them things together, and then it comes out pretty good, I hope. Well, so we're gonna work on this thing for a long time, and that's what I wanted to really lay down, is who Static Shock is, why he's popular, and what makes him interesting. Ultimately, none of that stuff is really focused on in the show. They focus on Static just basically being a superhero Black Spider-Man. That's pretty much it. They don't really dwell on the complexity